to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell with my man G Witt, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, fellas?
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Man, what a weekend of football. What a day of football. And I'm going to start the show off this way, man. Happy New Year. And I hope all of you that join the show and watch the show on the regular have had a great holiday season. And we wish you the best for 2022. But fellas, the Titans rolled in this week needing a win to wrap up the AFC South and to stay in contention for the number one seed, with that win plus a loss by the Kansas City Chiefs today, but you would talk about that more in a minute. All week, all we heard about was how tough the Dolphins were. I know y'all heard as much as I did, and they were one of the hottest teams in the NFL after winning 7 in a row playing suffocating defense. Hey, but news flash, fellas, during that streak, they only beat one team with a winning record, and that was the Ravens. Plus, they hadn't played a defense as tough as ours. And so the last time we saw the Titans playing nasty weather as we had today, it was against the Texans. And you all know how that turned out. 4 turnovers in the game and a loss. And so a lot of narratives going into this game. It's going to be interesting to see how it all played out. Good news was we had David Long Jr. come back this week. And although Julio was still on the COVID list, and plus we didn't have any updates on Golden Tate. And so that mystery is still out there, and we won't know anything else. Hopefully we'll find out something this week, but we'll see. Plus, as you heard last week on the show, we heard something about the King potentially working out last week, but we'll see what happens this Tuesday. So all in all, you like where this team is sitting, getting healthy at the right time in January when it matters. Results, guys, Titans 34, Dolphins 3. G-Witt, give me one big takeaway from this game today, man. One big takeaway.
Well, excuse me, my one big takeaway is that defense is, we've been saying it all season, but it's really legit. Right. You really saw it today where they shut the Dolphins down. Even though they had opportunities to gain yards and everything, there were a couple of times where they rushed basically just for the whole game, and they were still able to get pressure on Tua and cause them to make some errant throws and everything like that. But overall, man, the defense is what got me. I was just really impressed with how they played, how they got pressure, even with just 4. There was a couple of opportunities for sacks that we missed, but we still ended up with 3. Hats off to the defense, man. That's the thing that I take away from that game.
J. Lou, talk to me, man. You a little J. Lou.
Yeah, my one big takeaway, man, is going to be Mike Vrabel. I think it's his 5th season, if I'm not mistaken, as a Titans head coach. Never had a losing season. Back-to-back division champs for the first time in the franchise's history since 1960 and 61. And this is one of those games that, everything was there for the Titans to maybe lose. Possibly, we had already seen it before, 7 weeks ago with Houston, where on paper, this was the more talented team. I think we've now entered the part of the season where Vrabel's going to use every and any little thing to motivate the team, right. to get them to play to their potential. And I think you saw that today, but I'm just going to say hats off to him, the coaching staff. I thought offensive coaching was a lot better this week. Still some suspect plays, but I would say 1,000 times better than what we've seen. And then the defense, we know the defense has been lights out since about week 6. And then again, you like to see that the team's getting out of these games healthy. We're getting healthy at the right time. Outside of, Mike Hall, prayers up to him. But outside of that, got healthy. But I just think that's a testament to what Vrabel and J. Rob and even Miss Amy have built over there at Baptist Sports Park. And you're starting to see that where you have a contending team year in and year out.
Absolutely.
And so my big takeaway, fellas, I'm gonna give you about 1.5 if that's okay. Got to give props to the offensive line, man. Very nice performance today, blocking, leading the way for 198 yards rushing. Deontay Foreman, man, what can you say? And Jay Lee, you talked about it last week. This offensive line is as healthy as it's been all season long, and you'd like to see that again at this time of year. You want everybody to be getting on the same page, gelling and getting healthy. And quiet as kept, we almost got 2 double-digit sacks. Leaders on this team. Landry picked up 12 and Archery has 9. So that was my other little 1.5 takeaway. And so G, let's break down this offense, man, and talk a little bit more about what you saw out of the offense today. Like Jay Lou's already said, they did a better job 1,000%, but there was also some room for improvement.
Yeah, there's plenty of room for improvement. We can't get carried away and like think they've arrived or anything like that, but they did play a lot better. Offensive line did a great job considering that, the Dolphins are leading the league in sacks, and they held them to 1 sack, which really was more on Jeremy McNichol than it was on the offensive line.
Right.
I thought the other thing that happened today that surprised me, it took, it took almost a whole season, but they finally moved the pocket.
Man, look great, didn't it?
It's amazing how that works and get them away from the pass rush. I thought that was good. Again, the running game I thought was great once they finally got it going. I think still there's some improvement needed as far as reading the defense and understanding that when you get out there, there's some plays you just need to check out of, because there were a couple of times they tried to run the ball and Miami knew it, and it was just like they just waited for the gap to open up and they shot the hole before the running back got there. But other than that, man, I thought overall offensively, we didn't throw the ball much, which was good, because we were running the ball well. This is the first time when you stop and think about it that we had 200 yards rushing basically, and we won the game,
right.
Since Derrick Henry's been out. So I thought that was really good. They scored more points this time for the first time in a long time. I was worried when we went up 17-3 at halftime. I was like, maybe we're done. But they came out and ended up scoring some more, so I was pleased to see that. But overall, man, I thought the offense did really well. Tannehill was off at the beginning. I thought he was pressing a little bit myself. But you saw him settle down and finally started making some pretty good throws. And you saw some play action today, which was surprising on that side of it too. So yeah, Downing did a better job today, but there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Exactly. J. Lou, what do you say about this offense today?
Yeah, I believe the turnover stats was 3-0. If I'm not mistaken, 3 for them, 0 for us. Again, it goes to show to G. Witt's point, protected the ball, especially. I don't know how it came across on TV, but it was nasty out there. Yeah. We were dealing with sleet, ice, and everything falling. And I think you saw that take every time it started doing something out of the sky, you saw Miami struggle to hold on to the ball. So I thought the offense, just from that standpoint, I agree. I think that Tannehill was pressing a little bit in the beginning, probably trying to gauge the weather, because I'll be honest, that wind was whipping on the field, so probably trying to gauge there. But I think he settled down, and I think we did enough in the run game to use play action when we really needed it, and the play action was open all day long.
Yes.
Miami did when Miami, true to them, stayed what they did, stayed in man-to-man, and A.J. Brown, this is one of those games that if we needed to pass, it would have been there, but it just didn't get there. And I agree with you, G. Witt. I was glad to see them come out of halftime, and we really should have went up 24-3 right there on that first drive if it wasn't for that bogus block in the back or illegal blocking call. So you were glad to see them, keeping their foot on the pedal like that. And again, I think Ty Downing finally. Again, room for improvement. I'm still not an advocate of run, pass to set up 3rd down and 5. So I still wish we would switch up the pass play some more on 1st down. But I think overall, this probably was one of his better games he's called in the last 2 months. Some creativity. The best play of the day was the 55-yard pass to Hillard that, called back. That was a perfect play, perfection. And I think it was a perfect time to call it screen.
Yeah, it was a great screen. Yeah.
So again, I think his play calling and his feel for the game was a little better today. And again, nobody in the offensive line went down. You started to see them gel. They had the holes. You do see the drop off still between Foreman and Hillard and McNichols with their vision. I'm not going to even talk about the speed, because we all know if the King breaks that run that Foreman broke, it's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
But just the vision that he brings, just because some of the holes, it shows you how quick those holes close up. Because they're there, but they're just not hitting them as fast as him. But I think overall they did a phenomenal job, and I have to give kudos to the tight ends. We've been ragging on this group all year long,
especially
first year. And after Pruitt went down, first could probably realize he had to be tight end number 1 then. And I thought he made some big catches. Still don't agree with us going twice. Now this is twice this game. We threw the ball short of the sticks on 3rd down to set up a 4th down. But outside of that, man, I think overall you couldn't ask for a better performance, especially given the weather conditions today.
Right, and I agree with you both. I thought, like I said, I mentioned earlier, the offensive line had a great game. I thought Downing was getting a little bit too predictable at the beginning of the game, and especially in the 3rd quarter when they didn't even score. And then you saw, but you like what you saw. You saw the pocket movement. I mean, when they were actually moving the pocket, I was like, man, somebody. I know G Witt was smiling ear to ear when he saw that, man. Plus the offense got a little sloppy in the third quarter. Had a lot of penalties going back and forth. So I think they got a little bit too comfortable. To your point, G Witt, like you said, you thought, as I thought, they was going to shut it down, but then they came back in the fourth quarter and really opened it back up. 308 yards of total offense, 110 passing, 108 rushing, 7 for 15 on third down, a little below 50%, but that's not too bad. Tanny was efficient when he had to throw the ball, 13 to 18, 120 yards, and Deontay Foreman leads the rushing effort with 26 carries for 132 yards. Big stat for today, though, 5.2 yards per play for the Titans today, and 2 for 3 in the red zone. So, again, you putting up numbers like that, not turning the ball over, that spells a victory, especially with your defense playing as well as it was. And, A.J. Brown, to your point, J. Lou was open. They were doubling him. At one time, I saw they were triple teaming him. So, but they wasn't going to let him beat them today. But, again, they were running the ball so well. But I agree with you. If they had to throw the ball, he was finna eat because he was open a lot. And, unfortunately for Michael Pruitt, man, I hate to see that happen to him. He was playing great. And, just one of those things that happen playing football. So let's get some comments here, guys, and then we'll look at the defense. The Eddie Gray says the Foreman is a grown man. Definitely agree with you, man. Need to sign back Harold Landry. Or he said Arnold Landry, actually. But, yeah, definitely, we agree with that. And it's just a great day for the Titans. And we'll talk more about the other things that happened as far as the standings go. And so defense, G Witt, I know you were smiling ear to ear once again, man, looking at that defense, how it was balling. They flying around. You like the fact we got David Long back today, man. You add in with Bud Dupree back today, even though he was on COVID during the 10-day break. And G Witt, talk to me about this defense, man, because it looks good. It looks real good.
Yeah, they actually look a lot better than I thought when you think back overall. We got hit on a couple of runs early, right, from the running back from Miami, but I thought they did a great job adjusting to that, shutting it down. And I thought the defense overall, especially the secondary, I thought they played well. You didn't hear Waddle's name hardly at all. He had one good pass that they caught, but that was about it. Mm-hmm. There was only thing I'm gonna complain about the secondary. They had a couple of picks they missed, especially Amani Hooker.
Yeah,
come on, he's off to the races before he knew he had a pick six and was trying to run before he actually caught the ball. But overall, man, I thought the defense did a great job. I thought and this was surprising to me with the 4-man pass rush. I thought the pressure, the QB pressures they got were really good. Tua got out the way quite a bit, but you expect that because he can run a little bit. But at the same time, as he was getting out the way, he was uncomfortable throwing the ball, and you just saw him make some errant throws. At one time, I almost thought he had intentional grounding, but when they showed the replay, you saw the running back into play. But overall, man, I thought the defense, that pass rush was really good. I thought they did a really good job. It was one play in particular, I can't remember. They were going for it, and you just saw that 4-man pass rush just come in and crash and just completely collapse the pocket and sack Tua and put him out of field goal range, man. Right. So, that was the thing you like about it. Miami got some yardage, but again, you saw the defense holding them to field goal tries or punts because they will move down get within the 30 or the 20, and then you see the defense step up, make plays, and stop them from scoring. So hats off to them. I think Shane Bourne is doing a great job with the defense, especially with them getting healthy now. David Long Jr. coming back is huge. Jayon Brown was out today, and you really didn't see a drop-off. I thought Chris Shank, he played okay today. He didn't really but I think he got hurt on a couple of plays on special teams. So I think that's one thing that slowed him down a little bit. But overall, man, no complaints about this defense. I thought they played lights out. They only scored 3 points. Come on.
Yes, right. They scored 3 points, but I don't know if y'all noticed it, because I thought Rashad Evans didn't play that well today. He was overrunning his whole bunch, getting caught up in that trash all along the offensive line. And I thought he could have played a lot better. But J. Lou, tell me what you saw from your viewpoint, because I like how the seats are at the game, because G Witt and the seats that he's at, is a different view. And then Jay Lou, he can see it from behind the defense or behind the offense. So tell me what you saw, Jay Lou.
So what you just said about Evans is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
And I think if you go back and watch the all 22 tape, that'll show that he didn't have one of his best performances. I thought again that front four, I'm gonna give Bowen one strike, and it happened again today. You got to stop putting Harold Landry in coverage. Gosh, like there was one time that if we had somebody else in coverage, it's an interception, but Landry don't know what he's doing. Yeah. And then as soon as the next play came, you saw Landry get that sack he got. So just let him rush the quarterback. Zach Cunningham is as advertised. Man, I mean, he's a violent football player. There's no other way to
I love it.
I mean, he is violent. And then I think the DBs, man, we were in. You know that the wide receiver crew for the Dolphins can be kind of shifty. And I thought they did a good job bottling up Waddle today from that standpoint. I also think that, Jenkins, as quiet as it's kept, Jenkins has played pretty good since he's come off of
he got away with a PI.
He got away with PI. I mean, they let him have that way. I gotta give it up to Fulton too, man. Teams are gonna stop throwing the ball to that boy's way.
Yeah,
because he is definitely QB DB number one. And I like what we saw from Molden coming back from COVID.
I love Molden.
All he does is find the football.
He does.
That's it. I mean, fumble recovers, etc. So, great job again. What as quiet as it's kept, and I think when you look at the stats, you see Bud Dupree with one solo tackle today. Bud Dupree
pressures though, man.
Pressure, and then he held the pocket on contain. Think about these what beat us in the playoffs last year. We couldn't contain Lamar Jackson.
That's right.
Bud Dupree is containing, and it is magic to see. And then of course, Ed, I'm always bring it up because every time I see it, I think about you. First play of the game, first drive of the game, sacked by your MVP on defense, Danico. What more can we say? Danico's
that dude, man.
The only thing I'll say about the defense, and it's a blessing and a curse. We've got to bring a little bit more pressure. 4 is not going to get there every single time. Right. So it's okay to bring 5, 6, the corners, etc. But outside of that, the defense, man, this is a championship caliber defense.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that last statement you made, championship caliber defense. I mean, gee whiz, man, last year, what were we saying? We had a Super Bowl caliber offense, and all we wanted was a middle-of-the-road defense. And so now we have a championship caliber defense and an offense that's getting healthy at the right time. Yes. I'll say it that way. With an offensive coordinator that if he gets out of his own way, I think he'll be all right. Because like you said, at times he called a great game today, and then he had some little hiccups along the way. But, like at the end, he was calling the same run play. I don't understand trying to run the clock up, man, but you're getting your running back killed. Right?
Yeah, in there. I'm like, they're just reading the play. And matter of fact, on that one, what was it? You saw Tannehill come to the sideline, and the next thing you know, he tried to run. I said, if he had done that on second down, it would have worked.
It would have worked.
The naked bootleg.
The naked boot.
That's right. Let's get some questions, some comments there, fellas. We got a lot of them coming hot and heavy. Y'all keep bringing them, man. Taylor says they play DB because they can't catch. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Ed McKinney says we'll miss Michael Pruitt's running, blocking. He got some great hands. Will say, here's a good question from Will. Will says if 22 is cleared, are we opposed or against him playing in the season finale? And I'll let y'all talk to that first, G. Witt. Are you opposed to the King getting a few carries next week?
I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but here's my thing, and I will say this: I've been saying it all season. Vrabel's playing the long game, and to me, I'm thinking that Vrabel more than likely, even if the King is healthy, he'll still hold him out if he thinks he can go into Houston, win that game, and lock up the first round bye and save the King for the playoffs. That way he can start him fresh and everything. It'd be like starting the season all over with him. And I think he'll be fine. I'm not necessarily against it, but I'm thinking like Vrabel, I would rather win without him.
What about you, J. Luke?
If he's cleared, I play him. And I play him. And again, he's on a pitch count, no more than maybe 5 to 8 carries. Because what's my guy that ran today? Foreman's holding it down. But I always think about it. I look at it from this standpoint. knock on wood, the King has never, if you go back to his career in college, he's never had to deal with injury. Mm-hmm. So I play him just from a mental aspect alone. Let him get out there, let him get hit, let him be in Houston where they got the field turf where he got hurt on, just to try to get some of that psychological parts out of the way, right. where you do have him clear mind running into the playoffs. So I think if he's cleared and can run, I give him a few plays, and then he's coming out, and then you're ready to take all your horses in hopefully in the following 2 weeks, because you're gonna get that bye.
Right. And I agree. I like both of your points on both sides. And I agree that I would also play the King. I would give him, like you said, 5 to 8 carries, not that many, just to get his feet back wet, just to get the feel of cutting again, live action. Because it's different from when you run on the field, cutting by yourself, and instead of having bodies out there trying to attack you. So yeah, I give him a few carries, just not many. Just let them knock the rust off and get them ready to go. And then if they hold on to the number 1 seed, give them that bye week to get ready, and we keep rolling. Eddie Gray says Julio, he's going to eat in the tournament, even if Henry is limited on snaps going forward. Foreman has shown he's a threat. Right? Yeah, I agree too, man. Plus AJ is peaking at the right time. I definitely agree with you. Will says Cunningham's going to be one to eat next week. He's going to be a threat. I agree. Cunningham's going to he's got a chip on his shoulder, right? Yes. He didn't like his exit from Houston. And so that is one thing, as we break that game down here in just a minute, that we'll talk about more, is that we got a linebacker that's going to bring some fury, and with that violence that Jay Lou said he's talking about. Yeah, Eddie Gray, Danico Autry signed for 3 years with $21 million. So he's here for the next few seasons. So he's not going anywhere. And like I said, that's probably the MVP of the free agent off-season signings. Yeah. Taylor says, do not play the King next week. so does Carlton. Say the King for the playoffs. Anyway, so the defense for me, man, again, they hold another team under 100 yards rushing, 74 yards rushing. I mean, you just don't get that. You don't get that a lot of NFL. Number 2 rushing defense in the NFL. And his 18th overall, I believe, is total. Another 4 sacks today. They're 8th in sacks in the NFL. It's a quiet stat that nobody really realizes at this point. And G Whit, man, we were just saying last year, we can just get a sack. We were just hoping to get a sack.
Man. Wait a minute, 8th in sacks, and we only had 19 last season.
Correct. Yeah. And we got 2 guys about to go double digits. So we got 21 between 2 guys. And so, let that sink in. And again, I agree with you, Jay Lou. Bowen, he falls in love with the 4-man rush just a little bit too much. I get it. Toward the end of the game, you up 24, you up about 3 touchdowns, and you try not to give big plays. I get it. But, he's going to have to bring a little bit more as we get into the playoffs, because people are already, I'm telling you can see it. The offensive line is already looking for that twist up front. Even though Bud Dupree broke through that double team today on that twist and put the pressure on Tua. But again, we like to see that defense eat and to bring the pressure. And it's just a special defense, during this time. So special teams wise, Kern was Kern today, right? Oh, man. You saw Pro Bowl Kern in action. The 3 punts inside the 20, and Randy was 2 for 2 on field goals, 4 for 4 on extra points, man. So a full array of domination by the Titans today. All 3 phases won. Complimentary football, as Vrabel likes to say, you got to play complimentary football, offense to defense and special teams. And you like what you saw. I mean, this is a great day for us. I can't say it enough, because it was just great.
Yeah, on the special teams, you can't forget about the kick coverage as well.
Right.
I thought that was good. Like I said, Christian got hurt on one of the plays. I can't remember which one. It slowed him down, but he kept going back in. But you saw the kick coverage on kickoffs and punts, how they got down there and how they made sure they covered the guy and everything. Got the open field. I forgot who got the big open field tackle on one punt, and I thought that was a great play. Kern did his thing as usual. Fat Randy did his thing. So, and I thought Chester Rogers had a good game. He had a good game returning punts and everything. Yeah. So overall, man, you just like you said, it was a complete game in all 3 phases. But I thought special teams did a really good job, especially in kick coverage. But like I said, my only concern really in kick coverage is Dan Christian, man. I've been saying it all for the past couple of years. He's the key.
Not only that, but he's our tight end stopper, right?
Yes,
so if the team has a great tight end, we put Krusek on it. He locks him up, right?
Yes,
so he's proved that twice. Kelsey and Kittles, they both know about Krusek, right? So let me get this comment in real quick. So Stacey, man, I appreciate you. Stacey said, "Gee whiz, what's up with your boy AB?" Oh my gosh. So
hey, okay. Couple of things on that. I'm a first one from a football standpoint. I said never to get him. Remember, I said he was a headache.
Right.
When he was a free agent, I said, do not get him because he's a headache. He only cares about himself. Secondly, I also think, in all honesty, and I may have said it before, I think the boy really has some mental health issues.
He probably does.
And he really needs psychiatric help. I really do think that. I think he's just way too up and down with his mood swings and everything. And when things don't go his way, I mean, you see, it didn't matter that the team's winning. They pull him out of the game, and he just, for the most part, just lost his mind.
Yeah.
So, I just really think, on the serious tip, I think he needs some help. And him playing football is not the help he needs. He needs serious mental health issues. He got mental health issues. So playing football, I think he's done. Bruce Arians already said he's done with the Bucks. And after that little display today, I don't think anybody else is going to pick him up either.
Exactly. So the Titans wrap up the AFC South today, J. Lou, 11-5, AFC champs back-to-back. You hadn't said that, since the 60s, I think they said the last time?
Since the 60s.
The Houston Oilers won the division back-to-back. The Colts lost today to the Raiders 23-20, so they helped out. And, of course, the Bengals beat Kansas City, which is a huge win for them. So AFC playoff standings as we speak right now, Titans with the 1 seed, Kansas City 2, Bengals 3, Bills 4, Pats 5, Raiders 6, Colts 7. Chargers and Steelers rounded up with the NFC matchup tonight. So next week, man, week 18, which sounds really funny to say, week 18, part of the regular season. There are some big games, a lot of stuff riding on the games next week. Home field advantage throughout the playoffs would be awesome if we can hold on to that number 1 seed. I mean, we control the destiny, right, J. Lou? We control the destiny next week.
Control on destiny. It was funny being in the stadium today. Vrabel had a little bit of his Belichickian with him. They didn't show no scores or no highlights in the football game day, and they always got the scoreboard running. The only thing was running on now, all they was running was closed caption of them talking the entire time. You don't know nothing that went on. So that just goes to show that he had the entire organization dialed in to control our own what we can control. We don't need no help to get in. So it was great to see them actually go out there and dominate. And you've got to see this same type of performance next week, and you hope to think that this team, we kept saying it, we've been saying it. I mean, and every team's banged up, but we kept saying if we can get healthy, we can just hold steady. And I think when you look back on the season right now, that was a big stretch when we went through that gauntlet. Because what did the Titans do? They stacked up wins when they needed to stack it up when they were semi-healthy, and it allowed them to go. I think somebody put in the chat early, we're like 5-3 since Derrick Henry's been gone. Right. That's huge. Nobody in the NFL would have thought that 5-3 when you lost arguably your MVP of your team. So it comes down to Houston. We got some revenge because they came up here 7 weeks ago and beat you. They're not going to lay down, and I don't think you're going to see Vrabel. He's going somehow the Titans are going to be the underdogs to Vrabel in this game.
He'll find something.
He's going to find something to make them the underdogs, and you hope he goes out there and get them coached up. Everybody comes out healthy, and then at this time, think about it. If we can get the bye week, that's roughly 3 weeks of football, 2.5 if you count this Thursday night of football that you've missed in a 6-week period, because we had such a late bye, then a Thursday night game, then another bye. I mean, that's just enough time to get your team rested. And then I was telling you guys this week, I found out, that the wild card is going to continue to be COVID. It's part of the saving grace for us is we've got some big players who we don't have to worry about missing the playoffs because the NFL can't test you again and during 90 days because you can still test positive 90 days after you've had COVID. So we got some players on the team that will get past that. So you want to hope everybody stays healthy from that standpoint. I know they've shortened it where you can get out in 5 days. So I think it's just going to be a big game next week. And you like to control. I was telling G Witt after the game, Ed, this is the first time in a while as a Titan fan that we've had to control your own destiny in week 8 in the last week of the season, and all it's been for is the number 1 seed. It ain't to try to get in the playoffs. It's to have home field advantage.
Exactly.
So that's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, and like we were talking on the way home, man, I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've ever clinched the division at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird to say that, but this is the first time we've ever clinched it at home. So I mean, it was a great win. It was a great complete team win, which is what you want to see. And again, with Kansas City losing, that just gives us a great opportunity to go in next week. And it makes, put like this, it makes that game important.
Yeah.
It
definitely
makes that game important. Whereas if
agree.
Kansas City had won today, we would have been like, yeah, we can go in there and win, but, we'll go try to win. But, Kansas City's probably going to win their next game. So, but now that we're tied and everything, that's a big important game for next week. So that's, you can bet your money that's what Vrabel's going to use to get the team fired up. Cause we want that home field advantage. Now that it's real, you want it.
Yeah. That Kansas City, my bad. I didn't mean to cut
No, go ahead.
That Kansas City loss today is reminiscent of week 17. Was it 2 years ago when the Patriots lost home field and we went up there and beat them the following week in the wild card? It's similar. It's reminiscent of that. You don't know the ramifications that the Chiefs possibly having to play week 1 of the playoffs and us getting to bye, how that can look on down in January. So to your point, G, with next week against the Houston Texans is a big game.
It's a huge game.
And think about it like this too. From what you read today, just a little while ago, Eddie. If that's the case, then you know who the Chiefs are going to have to play in the playoffs. They have to play the Colts.
That's right. If the standings stay as they are now, exactly right.
They have to play the Colts. So
exactly right.
You just don't know how that's going to work out, man. So it's going to be interesting to see. Then, like I said, if Pete Rozelle was still alive, man, he'd be loving this to death. I mean, the final week of the season, and you got so many meaningful games. You're going to see your stars play because all the games mean something.
Yeah, and I think it was Taylor. He did say NFL is loving the finish for Week 18, the parody in its purest form. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. Darius says 7 wins against teams with winning records. You can't say it enough.
That's right.
That stretch of games that we saw the Titans reel off, man, was very impressive. I mean, I don't think anybody has done that during the season this year. He talked about, like I said, I talked about earlier in the show about they were talking about how good Miami was and how hot they hadn't beat anybody. So to that point. And then Ed Gray makes a great point, and to his point that he made, turnovers against Pittsburgh and New England kept us from wrapping this up weeks ago. And I agree. So you see how turnovers affect this team.
Yeah, man.
And we talked about on the show after the Patriots game is that if we don't turn that ball over, that game is ours to win.
Yes.
Because we really dominated the Patriots other than the turnover game, right? We ran 200 yards rushing. And they really couldn't stop us, and that really showed a blueprint of how to beat them. Because now you see people running the ball against them, right?
Yeah. Same against Pittsburgh.
That's right. That's
right.
You
if we don't turn the ball over, we win the game because Pittsburgh couldn't move the ball against our defense.
That's right.
And another point, calling back the Patriots game, Deontay Foreman on that long run he had. What did you see him doing with the ball?
He tucked it
today. Yeah, today.
It was high and tight. And when dude was trying to punch it out, he pulled it even higher and tighter. So, you can see where he learned his lesson because he kept it tight the whole time. And he understood, doesn't matter if you score or not.
Yeah.
You broke through, you got the first down, hang on to the ball. And that's what you saw today. That's a good sign when you see your running back doing that, making sure that he gets a long run, he doesn't ruin it by fumbling the ball.
Exactly. So another tough game, fellas, Week 18 on the road at Houston. A lot on the line for the Titans, man. The number 1 seed is huge. If you can get that bye week and have everybody come to Nashville in January where the weather is so funny. It could be 70 degrees one day and 25 the next and rain. And so, but we must take care of the football to Eddie Gray's point, man. Appreciate that comment and continue to ground and pound. And then, Downing and Bowen, they just can't be predictable. They got to stop being predictable because and I think Taylor might have said this too, as they get in the playoffs, man, you can't keep showing that same stuff. You got to mix it up because people now, they can just focus on you solely in the playoffs, before they look beyond anything else and really game plan and scheme you to death if you're not careful. And so thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie on there, G with J. Lou. Dion, man, you got to come on and get on the show, man. He said, sorry. We were, man. He said he hoped that we was able to handle things out. We were. The Cowboys go down 25-22 to the Cardinals. So man,
no.
The Cardinals to hold up. Don't leave us out of the mix yet for one of those top 2 seeds.
Yeah, they're fighting for that division win, man, because the Rams are giving them the blues.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys again for joining. Thank you for that comment, Willie. He says the best Titan show on Facebook, man. Appreciate that. And if you guys do miss the show, Dion, you can always go back and look at it on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. You can go back and look at it on there because we posted on there. And also, we posted on a podcast. Also, you can on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so any one of those platforms, you go on there, you can listen to it as well. You'll find a replay on there, so you can download and listen to it at your leisure. But check us out, man. Like I said, if you're not able to catch us live, then you can always catch the replay. Will says, y'all think Vrabel will be coach of the year? I mean, he's a great candidate for it. Think about what happened. Candidate. Think about what we up to now. 88 players used or something like that.
NFL record.
NFL record. Think about that for a minute. And you run off that gambit of wins of all those playoff teams from last year, both of the AFC championship game teams from last year, right? And you maintain at the top of the AFC, not dropping off, and here you are with number one seed potentially with your best player coming off being out potentially, right?
Yes,
and never having your number two receiver fully healthy. Your number one receiver's been out. And so a lot of different factors, and they're still 11-5 at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to remember, man. He's a legit coach of the year candidate because like you said earlier, everybody wrote us off when Derrick Henry went down. Everybody wrote us off and said they were done. There were a few people said they may make the playoffs. He said, but as far as anything else, that's a big if they make it. So the fact of the matter is that when you've used an NFL record number of players and had as many injuries as we have had, and you are now in position to be the number one seed in the playoffs in the AFC, that speaks volume to how your coach handles these situations. Yes. As far as the injuries and everything else was concerned, not having players, using players that come off the practice squad. Right. You sign them midweek and they're playing on Sunday. That speaks volumes to what your coaching staff is able to do, which is one of the things we complained about last year. Was the fact that we didn't think the coaching staff did a great enough job as far as getting players prepared, ready to run and everything. And I thought this year you saw the value in that especially with the secondary on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I thought other than really the overall OC calling the plays, that everybody else did their job pretty well.
Yeah, and you like the fact that even with AJ Brown and Julio out, that something like Westbrook or Keenan, he stepped up big this year. We really didn't truly have a number 3 guy this year. Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, he's in Detroit.
Yeah, he's in Detroit, right? So Marcus Johnson got hurt early in the year. And then came back and then got hurt again, had to go on IR with a hamstring. And so, never had that number 3 guy, but like I said, go ahead, Jay Lewis.
That's just a testament again to what G was saying. I mean, you think about 3-4 weeks ago, all you heard was, and we were still in the mix then, but all you heard was folks saying Harbaugh should probably be coach of the year because Baltimore dealing with all them injuries. Right. If you go back and think about all these teams that had these injuries that we passed on that list when we set the record, none of those teams had a winning record. None of them. Zero. Think about the 49ers last year. They was terrible. So for Vrabel to be off to win 11 games, potentially be the number 1 seed. And then when you talk about bringing practice squad guys in, elevating them on Saturday night to play and never really missing a beat. Now the talent gap was there a little bit, yes, but really never missing a beat, looking like, if you think you got a practice squad, you think you fielding a preseason team. We were in essence doing that and still winning big time football games. So, I think it's a credit to just show how much Vrabel has grown. He learned last year that he couldn't be coordinator and head coach. That's right. I think this year he decided to just be head coach. And dibble his hands in when he needed to, and start letting them coordinators coordinate. I'll always keep saying last week he got into the offense, and I think that's carried over. I think this week you saw it carry over on the practice field because I don't think he was involved in the game calling today, but I think he was more involved on the practice field with the game planning, etc., and how we're going to lay it out. And that's just a testament to being a good head coach.
Hey, but he did give him a look when they came out the field on the sideline. He was like, come on, man. Come on, y'all. Yes. Come on now. Come on.
But again, to go back to your point, J. Lou, you see the fact that, I think you see something going on during the week, because how many times have we ever seen Ryan Tannehill run over to the sideline after a play and start saying, we need to do this or something.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
you start seeing that effect. So you can see it's getting to that point to where everybody's understanding, look, we're getting ready to try to do something here. And everybody, it's not, you're not about hurting people's feelings right now. You're about winning.
Not at all. Winning.
Mm-hmm.
So come on with it. And another thing we need to be on the lookout for, I'm just going to say this, even though he finished the game, Ben Jones got a little dinged up during the game. So I was wondering, I'm curious to see how that's going to show up on the injury report.
Oh, I can tell you how it's going to show up. He will be limited practice Wednesday, Thursday. He might not even practice Friday. Right. And Ben Jones will be out there walking barefooted before the game Sunday playing. He is built different than any other lineman I've seen, man. Credit to that. And I think the one other thing that, I've seen somebody put in there about, J-Rob and giving him kudos to find these plays in the scouting team. We've built depth when we really didn't have it. These injuries allowed us to build depth throughout the season. I mean, Dr. Hillard. I mean, you think about Pop-Tart. I can't remember whoever 95 was on the D-line. Pico. Balling. I mean, he just bought. So we've been able to build depth because we've had these guys playing meaningful ball since week 6 of the season. So that only can bode well as you get into the playoffs.
Right. And I can't say enough because, like I said, I just love defense, but Pico, Naquan Jones, Pop-Tart, man, these guys, undrafted free agents. Undrafted free agents. I mean, you're talking about, you got to give credit to the scouting department to finding these guys. These guys are balling, man. I love Naquan, man.
Hey, man. Vrabel really gave him, people laughed about it because they thought it was an insult, but he actually gave him the ultimate compliment.
He sure did.
When he said, what about Naquan Jones? He said, how do you think he's got noticed? He said he ran his big behind to the ball.
That's right.
You gotta get you noticed.
You gotta run to the ball, man. You gotta run to the ball. So again, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight for halftime adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G with J. Lou. Yes, get a few more comments in here. They still coming. It says the league isn't going to give Vrabel and the Titans. They just do, not until we win one. Guess what? I don't like them to give credit to the Titans because they play better when the underdogs, man.
Yes, they do.
They
play better when they
I was nervous today about being favored.
I know, man. Vrabel he can spit. Look, you know what it reminds me of, and I know y'all saw The Last Dance, but Michael Jordan, he can make up stuff to motivate him. And Vrabel's the same way as far as making stuff up.
It was already on Twitter after the game. I forgot what national writer had already put on there, the Titans are the worst number 1 seed since which team, and just had a blank. So, I mean, the respect factor ain't going to be there, and that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fine with us. Yes.
I don't care. It's the same thing, I'll put it like this, and this is on a serious note. They interviewed Taylor Lewan after the game, and I thought that was really telling, the locker room report. Even though I teased about it and everything, I thought it was really telling because he is the only one still on the team that went through that 2-14 season and that 3-13 season. Mm-hmm. So when you step back and think about that, and you think, and you got to remember, that's where this team has come from.
Right.
Yes.
People, everybody, we can always complain about what's going on and everything, but you got to remember, it wasn't that long ago. We were 2-14 and 3-13.
And it wasn't that long ago that we had Clowney and Beasley as our free agent pickup out that we thought they were going to improve this pass rush. So let's just put that out there, G.
I take my hand off of those.
I know you. Hey, because G, do you remember the show we was talking about Clowney, and somebody said this defense is going to be elite. We was both like, let's hold up on that before we say that.
Ask Cleveland.
Oh man.
How does Miami feel about Tannehill now? He ended up with a win streak and possible to end their playoff hopes. Well, first time he played against the Dolphins, I thought he played well, and it was great to see. And he controlled the game. He managed the game well, and
yes, he did.
No turnovers. That's
turnovers.
That's the key. That's the key. He did a good job. And again, first time playing against him and all that. But it's like we've always said, and I think we have a better understanding of Tannehill than maybe what Miami did. Miami tried to make him a franchise quarterback, elite, and we know that's not what he is.
Right.
And I think the team understands that, and that's the one reason why they try to make sure they put talent around him so he can be efficient, he can be good, but he's not the quarterback and we said this when we first got him. He's not the quarterback you want throwing the ball 30 times a game. You really don't.
Exactly. So again, we thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G Wits,
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Taylor says, "Why do I bring up Clown and Bees? Because Taylor, you gotta remember where you came from, brother. You gotta remember where you came from. You gotta remember the good and the bad."
That's right. Hey, AFC South winners for the second year in a row, man.
Second year in a row.
We've come a long way, baby.
Come a long way. But check us out, man. We'll be back next weekend. So have they changed the schedule of our game? Because they got some Saturday games next week.
You'll probably hear by halftime of the Sunday night of the night.
Gotcha.
If I had to guess, I think they flip us to 3:25 or whatever that 3:00 time is, only because of Kansas City, and Cincinnati all still can play for the number 1 seed. So if anything, I would think it would flip to that time frame.
And just remember, if y'all saw last week's show, you heard it here first. When Tuesday rolls around and you hear Derrick Henry has been activated
designated to return.
Designated return with a 21-day window, which opens him up to return to the 53-man roster. You heard it here first last week. Go back and look at the film. I'm telling you, you heard it here first. Go back and look at it. Somebody on this show, Jay Lou, said that look out because Henry will be practicing next week. Well, actually, he was practicing this past week, and then he will be active next week. So when y'all hear it, just remember where you heard it from.
Yes, sir.
But again, check us out next week, man. After the Texans game, we'll be back live breaking down the game, whatever time the game is. If it's on Saturday, just look out. We'll probably still be on Sunday, but just look out for the information. We'll set the event notification out, and y'all come back and y'all join us, get your comments, get your questions in on Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G Witt, J Lou. Hey, we out of here, man. Peace. Tighten up.